This video is to help you start drawing a city in one-point perspective. In your packets, there is a page of some helpful hints. You don't have to do anything on this page. It does give you ideas, though, about where to get started. On the back of your packet, there's a practice page. You could practice here and then jump to your good white paper, or if you feel comfortable, for the sake of time, just jump straight to your plain white paper. If you look at your rubric on Schoology, you'll see that you need 4 buildings drawn in one-point perspective. You need windows on both sides of the building, following the one-point perspective rules. They have details like curtains or other small details, maybe things inside the windows, something like that. You also need doors on the buildings, so you need at least 1 door on each of your buildings. Those doors should have detail, such as doorknobs, any kind of windows in there. You can see this one looks pretty plain. It's not quite done. This is definitely not a finished drawing. And then you'll need objects around the buildings. Now, I put onto the rubric that you need at least 2 street lights, such as this. I have 3, but you only need 2. You need sidewalks, which I have here and here. You do need sidewalks around your buildings. And then you get to choose 2 other features. Things could be benches, trees, planters, cars, drains, mailboxes, fire hydrants, whatever else you wanted. And lastly, just make sure your paper is cared for. You erase all your extra marks. So when you're getting started with this, decide where your horizon line is. There are some examples on Schoology in the assignment that show you different vanishing points. For the sake of my demonstration, I'm going to put mine off to the right, but you can put it in the middle, to the left. As long as it's on that horizon line, you should be good. I think it's easy to start out with a road, so you can have something to put your buildings on. You could have a city, you could have a rural area, you could pick different climates, whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. At this point, think back to the other activities that were in the packet. Drawing boxes, drawing letters, drawing unique shapes. And that's what you want to pull from to get ideas. If you look at my example, I have the letter T as a building. So it has a large overhang. I might put some things up here. There might be a long patio out here. Whereas this building is more of just like a box. I'm going to start with a box with a pitched roof just to show some things that weren't included in the packet. I'm going to start at the corner of my building and decide how tall I want it. Just like before, I'm going to go to the vanishing point. I could go all the way out, but I know that I'm going to end my building around here, so I'm going to just stop drawing there. Okay, lining up the vanishing point, bring it out. All right, this is coming out here. Now, I did the front of the building first. You could also do, the straight side of the building first. You could also do the building part that's facing you first. And remember, that'll be a basic shape like a square, triangle, rectangle, letter, whatever you want. I'm going to very lightly do the roof, line this up, and bring it out here. Okay, so if I wanted a square building, that's what I would have. If I wanted to do a peak roof, you could do the same thing on this side or this side. I want my triangle to be here. So what I'll do is I will very lightly find the middle of this face of the building. I have the X there with my ruler straight up and down. I'll come straight up, however tall I want the peak to be. Then I will connect the corners here and here, right there. The top of the roof will be flat, just like the side of this building. And then this side will match the front. So I'll take that, gently scoot it out. And then I can erase the things I don't need. This was something that was not in the packet that I know some people might like to see. Okay. Now if you look at my example, I found the X on this side, came up, connected those. But because this part of the roof would have been in perspective because of that being in the side of the building, I used the vanishing point for those 2 lines. So it looked like it got smaller as it went away. Okay, so there's 2 different examples of those peaked roofs. Okay. When you add a door or a window, they're going to be straight up and down. If they're on the side of the building, you need to use the vanishing point for the tops. If you're doing multiple windows, you can draw them all generally at the same time and then divide them later. Okay, so I have 3 windows there. They are all in perspective. I have vertical lines here, perspective lines going that way. If you're on the side of the building that's facing the viewer, you do not have to worry about that because all of your shapes will be perfect rectangles, perfect triangles, circles, whatever you need to do. Okay, so that would be an example of a door. You may have a really large window. That would just be a regular square. Let's say you wanted to put some sort of oval or circular window on this side. Zoom in a little bit. What I would do is very lightly draw in the boundaries of how big I want it to be, but using a square, I guess rectangle. Okay, at this point, I'll put a little dot on all the center parts, and then what you have to do is kind of freehand those to be kind of rounded, and these little areas will kind of curve a little sharper. So in case you wanted a sign or a unique window, you could do that and then erase your outside square. That's how you do a circle in perspective. Again, another thing that was not in the packet, but you might like. For the sidewalk, okay, line up with the vanishing point, go in front of the building, right? Your sidewalk lines on this part of the sidewalk would be flat to the paper. If you were doing them this way though, you would need to use the vanishing point. Okay, so using them like that. Okay, so those are all lined up. All right, another question that was asked about was street lights. If I'm doing a lamp pole and come straight up, you can make it rounded, come straight up again. As long as you're underneath the horizon line, you will see the top of any kind of building. Come straight up again, and maybe you want to come straight out and down. Okay. At this point, you want to put at least one more in because the rubric says you need 2. To make it go in the distance, line it up, decide where you want it. That will be the height of it. This one will be out here. This part here, right there, the middle part. So you're basically like figuring out all the important points and putting those in. Okay, so I need to make sure I have an idea of where those are. So at this point, I would come up, round, come up, round, up, over, down, and then there's my lamppost in the distance. So it's in perspective. It's showing that it's getting smaller as you go along. If you're doing one over here, I would put your measurements directly across, and then that will help you. But then it'll basically be the same thing. Okay. One thing that someone did have a question on were the lines in the road. They're going to be pretty close together. If you want to actually physically measure them out, you can. Down here. So find about the middle of your road. Maybe every couple marks. I have 4 marks there. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to connect that dot for the left stripe. Vanishing point. This is the other side of the left stripe. Okay. They're very skinny just because compared to the entire road, they're not very big. there's those lines. And from here, I would add my other 3 buildings. I would add details to my windows and my doors, and anything else that I might like to add around to add to those extra features. If you decide to go above your horizon line, you won't see the top of your building, but you might see underneath your building, similar to right here. Take a look at the examples on Schoology. Make sure you're putting your own personality in this. Make it fun. This is due Tuesday, so I would work and plan all 4 buildings first, then add more and more detail as the time allows. All right, please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.